God comes to Jacob in a dream.
God told Yaakov, pack up your stuff and take your mishpacha to Egypt.
He anticipated, as any strong, intelligent man would, that there was going to be struggles.
It's going to be difficult there.
So Yaakov sends his son Judah.
He asked them to set up a place of learning.
When the people of Israel would get there, they would already have a sense of belonging.
It's very important that if the Jews are going to be in exile outside of their home, they have to be educated.
For any nation, and especially the Jewish nation, to grow and to prosper and to stay together and face anything that's going to come about, well, you need that base of learning.
Between the time when we're done school and we're done university, and before we have a family, and before we have our own Jewish institution that we attend all the time, there is this lapse. A lot of times we think we've made it, we know what we want. We've learned it all, we've seen it all, we've experienced it all, now it's time to live. And oftentimes there's so much that we've missed.
I can see how easy it is for people to fall off the track.
It is so easy to get caught up, in the pursuit of life. We can find ourselves not doing Jewish ever.
In this day and age, I feel a lot of us really struggle to find our sense of identity and to find our sense of belonging, and
That's when we lose our identity.
It's hard to find those opportunities of exploring what Judaism means to you.
Jacob, our forefather, is telling us a message about what our future is going to be like if we set it up properly.
He needed the foundation, the institution to be there to make sure that his mishpacha, just like my mishpacha, will survive.
That's exactly what we're doing here in China. We're building an institution of education that can foster community.
So within the four walls of this institution, somebody came ahead of me to build this.
Yaakov would be proud of what Jump has established here in Toronto, really.
What Jump does is it creates a vehicle, a makom, a place for people to come and be Jewish together.
Jump is a place where I can do Jewish.
I kind of started getting involved with Jump, and now all my friends in Toronto are Jewish, but
I can meet people, I can travel with people.
We have amazing speakers come and inspire us about relationships and loves and the things that are most important in today's society.
Core principles and values about living a meaningful life.
Relationships are created here that otherwise would never exist.
I see it when I go on these trips and when I'm at these events. I see the connection that people have.
We have our Judaism, and we're here together. And it's awesome. That's Jump.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming, and welcome to the Jewish Urban Meeting Places, JUMP's first ever community-wide evening, a message to the next generation.
With so many other worthwhile charities in so little time, we thank you for being here with us this evening. We promise that you will not be disappointed. We truly have a special evening in store for you.
We are the next generation, and we are also your masters of ceremony this evening. I'm Michael Grossman, and this beautiful young lady next to me is Alex Brock.
Although it's just the two of us up here tonight, it took an incredible team of extremely talented people to put this whole evening together.
Evenings such as this simply don't just fall into place on their own. And hopefully tonight, we can show you that a small group of dedicated young Jewish professionals can come together to inspire, promote, and create meaningful Jewish experiences for the community at large. And by the community at large, we mean you. Because like you, we know that honoring our present will ensure our future.
As some of you may know, JUMP is an organization that is very near and dear to both Michael's and my hearts. It's Toronto's best kept secret until tonight.
JUMP, for those of you meeting us here tonight for the first time, works with Jewish young professionals like us, aged 22 to 35, the future generation, if you will.
JUMP offers a place to learn, volunteer, and socialize. We travel together to learn in Israel, we volunteer together to help those in need, and we get a chance to meet like-minded people and network with them for a common purpose and goal.
And oftentimes that goal is a distinctly Jewish goal, with a meaningful and engaged Jewish experience attached to it. Simply put, JUMP gives us a place where we can make a meaningful and inspired difference.
JUMP is a place where we can dedicate meaningful volunteer time and feel like we've had the opportunity to be heard, make change, and stay connected to our community.
Alex and I are not only proud to be part of the JUMP community, but tonight we are humbled to have been given the opportunity to bring to you an event that honors the great Howard and Nancy Kleinberg. Please, let's all give Howard.
The Kleinbergs are living legends. They have fans from coast to coast, and we're honored to be able to give them a sliver of what they have given us. The Kleinbergs have built a life dedicated to our community, and for that, they are a living example of what we should all strive to be.
A number of weeks ago, the members of our committee were fortunate enough to have an exclusive sit-down with Howard and Nancy. I had the esteemed privilege of being there that evening, and I can tell you that by the time they were finished with us, there was not a dry eye in the room.
Nancy and Howard, we are so moved that you have been gracious enough to be the distinguished nobility of our guest of honor this evening. Thank you for being a part of our family and for allowing us to be a part of yours.
That's not all. As if having Howard and Nancy Kleinberg here with us tonight was not enough, we also have one of the most influential, powerful, and inspirational speakers in the entire Jewish community across the entire world, Rebbetzin Esther Young-Grace.
Michael and I plan on telling you about Rebbetzin Young-Grace a little bit later, but first we would like to turn over the microphone to the Executive Director of JUMP, Rabbi Daniel Green.
Rabbi Green's countless hours of dedication to JUMP is the reason why so many of us Jewish young professionals in Toronto have a special place to call our own. Please put your hands together and make him feel as welcome here as he makes us feel at JUMP. Ladies and gentlemen, Rabbi Green.
This is an incredible evening tonight, and I would like to thank everybody for coming this evening to be honored to our guest of honor, Mr. Howard and Nancy Kleinberg. A few weeks ago, I had the privilege of having lunch with Mr. Howard Kleinberg. I arrived at the restaurant. Of course, Howard was already there sitting, and he was at the corner table. I sat down across from him. What I didn't realize at the time was I was sitting across from an icon. A few moments later, a group of high school girls came into the restaurant. All I heard was a high-pitched chorus with the words, "Mr. Kleinberg." This fan club of Howard, they converged and descended adoringly upon our table. And when they left, I said, "Howard, can I ask you something? How do you know these people?" And he turned to me and he said, "These are my kids from the March of the Living." Howard went on to say that, Rabbi, I send them an email each and every Friday. I was impressed. I said, "What do you say in your weekly email, Howard?" He said, "Always something different, but it's always the same theme. Be good and love life." I realized at that moment that Mr. Howard and Nancy Kleinberg share the same vision and mission as JUMP, to connect and inspire the next generation. After they leave universities, the young Jews of our community are thrust into life with challenges, great challenges, of building careers, building relationships, building their future. Within these critical years, many life-changing decisions have to be made. A relevant Jewish message must resonate. There's basic, fundamental questions. Why is it important to be Jewish? Why is it important to find the right spouse to build a Jewish home? Why will synagogues and Jewish day schools someday be critical to my future? Jump is the home for this demographic, a place where they can connect to that speaks their language, a place where they can navigate through their future, through osmosis, through learning. At Jump, we host 250 events each and every year. We touch the lives of thousands with a message to the next generation. In short, at Jump, we aspire to be like Howard and Nancy Kleinbergs. This remarkable and inspirational couple that we have come here this evening to pay tribute to saw their world engulfed in flames. They experienced indescribable horrors. They had every right to throw up their hands in despair and bitterness and simply give up. But these people decided to respond with faith, with love, and with boundless resilience. Like Pinchas, who witnessed the disintegration of the Jewish people and saw bloodshed. Against all logic, he received a brit shalom, a covenant of peace. This covenant of peace is the legacy of our honorees. And tonight we celebrate their great achievements. This evening, Jump is humbled to be associated with the names of Mr. Howard and Nancy Kleinberg. On behalf of our incredible staff at Jump, Shlomo and Alana, who put so much effort into tonight, our exceptional educators, Rabbi Joel Werdiger and JR and others, we say thank you to you, Howard and Nancy. Thank you for being the consummate example of Jewish resilience, faith, commitment, and love. Mr. and Mrs. Kleinberg, you are all that we all aspire to be. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly turn your attention to the video screen behind me as we watch the Mr. Howard and Nancy Kleinberg tribute video.
Life for me, growing up in a place like Poland, was very difficult. Anti-Semitism was very great. As the German army marched in, we realized that life is turned upside down. Restrictions were declared daily. In the middle of 1941, a ghetto was formed. Start of the year, rumors, toward liquidation. Suddenly, during the wee hours of the morning, you heard bullhorns. Leave everything and come to the square. Yeah, a mayhem. Shooting people on sight, taking away the children, the elderly, into the other side, and the able bodies into the right side. I had no chance to say goodbye to my parents. We saw them march up to the train. It was the last thing I saw of my parents. In July of 1944, the end of July, we were packed into trains and drove out to Auschwitz. Arriving in Auschwitz, you felt this the end of the line. And believe it or not, it's hard to describe how a person feels that you're dying 1,000 times in a minute. I didn't stay too long in Auschwitz. Then we were traveling north 60 miles to a new camp called Mauthausen. They marched us up again west to a camp called Bergen-Belsen. 2 weeks then, it's April 15, God behold, the British have come in to liberate the camp.
Survivors of the Holocaust are telling their stories so that the world never forgets. CNN John Voss reports from Jerusalem.
They came not to celebrate, but to remember those who somehow survived not just the war, but the Holocaust. Lying among the dead, Howard Kleinbergs, sick with typhus, 18 years old, he'd given up on life.
And many people like myself felt satisfied to die at this moment because you saw the end of this cruelty.
A resurrection at the hands of a teenage girl, Nancy, the woman who had later become Howard Kleinbergs' wife.
When I was in the camp, I was young, I had a lot of courage, and I was always hoping that maybe tomorrow will be better. Somehow I always saw a little light in the tunnel, not big, not small, tiny little.
And on this day, a reminder that even from the darkest suffering can come compassion, love, and happiness. John Ball, CNN, Jerusalem.
And today we'd like to introduce you to Nancy and Howard Kleinberg from Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
They're survivors of the Holocaust, and their love story is nothing short of a miracle. Take a look.
April 15, 1945, when the British Army came into Bergen-Belsen to liberate the camp.
All you saw was corpses, that someone was lying there and moving a little.
I hear this young girl saying, you know, he's still alive.
My girlfriend said to me, Nancy, what are you going to do with him? Can't you see he's dead? I said, he's not dead. If we let him lie here, he'll die for sure.